Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Weekly Rewind. This is Provis. I'm here with Morrok, and our show is basically clan members sending in one good game each week for us to review and cast. And so, without further ado, this game is going to be between Bunny and myself, Provis. Provis is the top left, Bunny's on the bottom right. And to give you a little feedback about this game is it's shenanigans. I like messing with Zerg. Zerg is all about timing and when to drone and when not to, and I just like to have a little fun and a lesson to learn if you're not Protoss about how warp prisms work, and that's the only hint I'm going to give you. So, anyways, so Morrok, you basically going through everything. Do you see anything different? It's just standard play, right? You see Bunny.
Looks pretty normal. Looks like
droning up and
going for a forge fast expand.
Notice
Possibly.
I sent a very early probe.
Early probe. Checking everywhere in this base too. He's gonna go spawning pool first.
Which is safe. It's good, right? You just gotta, pay attention. But remember, I am a really good cannon rusher, so just know that. Like very good, like sick good.
So you got one pylon down.
Well.
Oh, and a cannon's going, and another pylon, and another pylon.
Oh no!
Oh, but drones can get in there. You should have sealed that off. Oh.
How do you like that block?
Oh no, that's not good.
And look at that. My pylon still survives.
Man.
It's paid for itself, right?
That 5 damage from the drone. It's too good.
All those cancels, 50 minerals gear. I'd say it's a pretty good investment.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing you got to know about this is if you're Bunny, and this is what he didn't do, instantly make a queen. And he did. He was going for spine crawlers, which is wrong. So if you're a Zerg in this situation, a queen is your best friend.
Or just pull half your probes. Or drones. Pulling all your drones works pretty well because the Protoss is already going to be behind because they've invested so much money in this. Because building all these cannons and pylons, they can't be making probes, so.
Well, we got a real problem here.
Yeah.
That spawning pool.
That spawning pool. How unfortunate.
Now I'm droning behind here. I've already got my natural, so
that's new.
I'm gonna be ahead.
Just kidding. Looks like he's going to slowly break into this. I don't know. If he moved his spine collars in the right spot, he could just take out the pylons.
Yep.
To move the spine here. I already think I know where this game's going. We put down really fast 4 gases.
Now I'm up by 10 though. This is important to see. So So here, another thing, fellow any other race, if you see these cannons unpowered, you might want to make some Zerglings and kill them. They're just chilling, playing defense.
Or
and poor Bunny, he's like, yeah, I got this covered. There's one thing about those warp prisms that people just don't realize is that they power buildings and cannons.
He should have moved his spine crawlers to go and kill him. I don't know why I moved him away.
Nope, not doing that. He's guarding his front. He's not paying attention to these 3 unpowered cannons.
Oh no.
And you see a warp prism come out.
And then I also see 5 gateways.
Yes. It's shenanigans, but obviously
we're gonna see 2 more along with those. 7, 8 gateways. And now he already has a
you just anticipation, right? You're like, how in the world is this gonna happen? But it does.
30 Zerglings on the way.
Oh,
He's not gonna do very well versus this cannon warping. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so unfortunate. You should have brought like a probe with it or something.
You're cutting in and out a little bit, just so you know.
I think, here, give me a second. This should be a little bit better. Still adjusting all my settings on raid call. Should have brought like a probe with it and built a pylon and then kept expanding your cannons.
I'm not worried about it, so.
Oh, looks like he's gonna push through here. That doesn't look like he's gonna be able to hold that. There are 12 more roaches on the way though. I don't know. I don't quite know why he quit. He still had. I don't know. Could he have beaten that with his roaches? We'll never know. All right.
So basically, this would not have worked without those 3 cannons.
No, he had plenty, but not enough to hold off those cannons. All right, now we're gonna go into our next replay, which is between PreciseAlien and another Terran. I'll load that up here in a second.
One of these days, I'll put a serious one on there. You already know this is going to be good because the person who's playing is Ball Greasy. So.
This is a Terran versus Terran on Whirlwind.
So, it's going to be a huge, long game. Well, to get started, on the top right, we have Ball Greasy. And on the bottom left, we have PreciseAlien. I don't know about you, but I feel like Terran versus Terran's kind of boring matchup.
It depends. It can be
it's all about position. It's all about positioning. It's all about Hellbat drops and harass.
Yeah, the Hellbat drops are quite entertaining to watch, though.
I played random last night. I got Terran, and it was 4v4, and we lost terribly. But I just did Widowmine drops the entire game. It was just so much fun. You know, I had one Widowmine take out 12 probes.
That is pretty good. And you still lost.
Well, I was banking like 5,000 minerals, so probably not the best race for me. You know, I'm used to being able to warp in like 1,000 in minerals in like a second. Terran, you got to have a lot of production in place.
Gonna see. Well, Greasy's gonna go for a very fast starport, whereas PreciseAlien is just macroing up a little bit. He's just now getting his factory, whereas his opponent, his starport just finished, and he's gonna put a tech lab on it. Looks like some banshees are coming out.
And PreciseAlien is going to probably go with Hellions. Guessing. Could be a Hellion. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a It's going to be a Hellbat or Hellion drop, depending on if he did the factor or the armory. I don't see an armory, so I think it's going to be a Hellion drop.
We're going to see Cloak on the way as well. So, you don't see a whole lot of Banshee play nowadays.
Well, that's because Banshees suck. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I just saw the other day streaming the Muslim, and he loves Banshees, and they always seem to work because you keep them alive, you force scans out of the opponent, you pick off Marines, and they're worth it, even if you just do 2 or 3 of them. So
that tech lab almost getting picked off, but he saves it with his SCVs. But he is going to lose a few. But luckily for him, he had made a Raven.
And absolutely no micro there. Banshees outranged Marines by 1, so if you're good in kiting, especially before the stim gets done. Once the stim is done, obviously they can stim and run faster and take you out, but before that you can kite Marines all day long.
I'm going to see a 3rd base coming down from Ball Greasy here soon. Kind of interesting because Precise.
Do you just picture Ball Greasy as a dirty old man? Because that's how I kind of picture it by his name.
Probably.
Like a guy that's like questionable hygiene in his 50s, sitting in his underwear and wife beater. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Hence, I just described myself. If you didn't know, I'm, right now casting wife beater. Actually, bottomless. I don't wear pants or underwear when I cast. I like to let the men breathe while we cast. So.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a scan. Just trying to figure out what's going on here.
All right. Oh my goodness.
Oh, you cast with your pants on?
Yes.
Morrok?
Yes, I do. I do.
You gotta let them breathe.
Oh
Just let you know. Well, economy, everything's going well. Similar Marines. Tanks are a little bit to the dirty old man to the north. But we're going to see some aggression going on. And I think the key to this is you're going to see air dominance.
Close,
and that air dominance is going to make a big difference right now. Because with that Raven, and even with that...
if he gets a couple of the Seeker missiles off, this could be pretty interesting.
2 Seeker missiles will destroy, 15 Marines. But you're also cutting off his army. So good stim.
Ooh, well, that was decent, but he got a nice
here's the downside. What he did wrong, he stimmed a second time after getting hurt, and so when he stimmed, all his Marines had like near 0 life.
Yeah.
They didn't have any medevacs at the time. We should have regrouped for a second.
You see a Doom drop coming up north.
Yep, we're going to see a Doom drop. This generally can turn into a base trade as well. It's going to favor the fact that he's going to hurt his production, whereas he's just
cutting it out a little bit, Provis, but see,
so there goes
a little bit of a base trade.
All right,
taking out the main. They're both doing substantial damage to each other.
Okay,
but supply-wise, Ball Greasy is a little bit ahead, but it's kind of evening out now, so. Let's see if this Widowmine helps out. Not a whole lot, just picking off 1 Marine. So one thing, like situations like these, it's important to do as much damage as possible before pulling back. You want to pull back the last possible second and try to save as much stuff as you can.
Wow, he's gonna let that finish level 2 armor. That's huge. Really, those tanks are the saving grace. Now look at this Widowmine. If those Marines just stay right there for a little bit longer, they're gonna get just killed.
Ooh, going for the medevac instead of the Marines.
Oh no.
Now the thing is Precise still has 3 command centers alive, or orbital command, sorry, and he has a lot of mules, about 9 or so.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you look at army value tab, it's pretty even. But remember, it's 2-2, and let's see versus 1-2.
Well, yeah, and there's actually equal medevac count. Or there might be 1 more from Precise.
Those 2 tanks are the most important thing. If he can snipe those tanks.
Yeah, and they're pretty low health too. Looks like he's gonna pull back. And not quite sure what he's trying to do. See if Precise just decides to drop all those mules at once. His economy is gonna be far ahead. Pretty crazy game. So Precise has not scouted any of the barracks over there, but he does know that he has this base. So putting the Marines there so they can't kill the base, but they're gonna stop any workers from mining. Pretty smart. Oof. It's not such a favorable position there for Ball Greasy. And the GG. Well, no GG, but the end. Alright. Go ahead and jump into our next game. Which is... Okay, so this is a funny game. So, if you're not aware, Team NeSw is currently playing in the UASL. So it's a team league. So we have a bunch of teams who play against each other, and 1v1. I think we do best of nines, correct? Or is it best of 7? It's one of those. And this is one of our members. He played against the team leader of another team, the UASL, on the ladder. So we thought this would be a pretty fun game to put in the weekly rewind.
So spawning in the top left is Mew or Meow?
You.
Mew. I'll go with Mew. And then on the bottom right is our very own Funshine. PvP has actually gotten a lot better since Wings of Liberty. Before the additions, it was first one to expand loses, and basically there wasn't a lot of options. You went Robo or 4-gate or Stargate, and any of those things were highly risky. Now that you can do fast DTs, that you have a mothership core for defense, you can expand. There's a whole lot of options for Protoss, including all the regular cheese from Wings of Liberty. I would like to see one of these tournaments. Maybe I'll do it myself. I'd like to do a planetary Nexus rush. I think that would be good.
Kind of like that Funday Monday episode a couple weeks ago.
They're being very friendly, and Funshine is basically doing a standard build here. He's not going gas heavy. He's delaying his second gas a little bit, which will give more minerals. Whereas Mew is definitely he was doing 2 and 2, and now he's got 3 and 3 in the gas. So he's going to have a little bit more gas income.
So nothing too exciting at this point. There's a stock coming out, a mothership core coming out from Funshine as well.
That pylon makes me think that there's something iffy going on, and I'm right. So I did not watch this tournament. I was gone out of town. So, but
this wasn't from the tournament. This is on the ladder. Just kind of coincidental. Sheesh. See a Stargate coming out from Mew as well, though.
Oh, he's going 3-gate Blink. That's very common. A lot of the pro players you see doing that. They'll now he's going straight to it, but a lot of them will go fast with like a mothership core and a couple stalkers, or.
Yep, and he just warps back.
Yep, he recalled. He saw the. Now that's actually pretty good for him.
He did see. Yep, and he saw it was a Phoenix as well. So I'm assuming he just tried to get back before the Phoenix could pick off the mothership core. So. And Blink is now.
I really like against
finishing.
this play. I really like the Archon Zealot only because the Phoenix can't pick up the Archons.
Had a little derpy stalker there for a second. So the Phoenix is not really going to do a whole lot here.
That's the problem with Phoenix. They're not the greatest.
I mean, he does lift off a few, but Funshine's playing this pretty well. He's just trying to pick up as much as he can while staying outside the range of the photon overcharge.
I'm not understanding the red opponent. You know, really, what you want to do in this situation is you want to hold back and solidify your forces and use that cannon to your advantage.
Yeah, just don't even move your units forward because they're just gonna die to the blink stalkers. I mean, with this blink here, Funshine is very efficient with his units.
And I bet he just keeps.
The Phoenix are good if the stalkers are at small numbers, but let's see.
The nice thing about the 3-gate is you can always keep warping them in. You don't have to wait. As soon as your warp gates are finished, you can do that. So and some good blinks there, and yeah, it's just a 3-gate. And it just sounds like Funshine too, with the bro. So that was a good game. Now that would have gotten just torn up by Zealot Archon or a Robo play, so it was really important that he went and took his mothership core and scouted and saw that was Stargate. Because had there been even one or two Immortals, it would have been a very different story. Same thing with the Zealot Archon. If the Zealots are charged and the Archons, that those, even with the blink micro, it's still very tough to beat that because of the 10-second charge on the blink, the pause.
Alright, so this next game is on Clontis Meyer. It is the same guy who has Osmposm. He's last week. This is the same map and the same matchup as well. Let's see how this one differs from last week.
In addition to being pantless, I sometimes stroke my pussy while we're casting, so sorry if I sound distracted, but it needs a lot of attention. My pussy.
It is a cat.
Well, of course, of course. I have a black pussy and an orange pussy, just so you know. But anyways, on the left side is Osmposm. On the right side is Showtime. I just like Showtime. Makes me think of Deion Sanders.
Doesn't look like there's any 10 pool or super early pool going on here. So.
You know what I like on this map? Well, I can say I like it if you're Zerg. I hate it if I'm Toss. Fast Muna, because the distance to travel is ridiculous by air. Yeah, it's just so quick.
And these mineral lines are really close as well too, and the ramp kind of makes your stalkers have to go all the way around. So unless you have blink, it's really hard to defend both mineral lines. Orbital command coming out. It's gonna pick off this Overlord. This is pretty sad as a Zerg player to lose one of your early Overlords.
Well, sorry, there's not a whole lot going on here. I mean, it's very standard. It looks like mainly Showtime is going to be going, with Roach Warren.
Looks like he's going to be going for a Roach timing attack here. You're going to see there aren't any more drones being produced, so it looks like he might be saving up some larvae. He's just making Overlords as well. So it looks like he's just trying to make a lot of supply, and then he's just going to make a bunch of Roaches. There's not a whole lot of defense here for Osmposm. He has a bunker with 3 Marines in it. This will be interesting. 6 Roaches coming out already. He needs to send these Roaches out.
Yeah, the sooner the better. And he's doing it right now. This bunker is woefully unprepared. Now, I'll be interested to see if he goes Hellions. Okay, he is.
He's gonna go. I think he's gonna go Hellcat.
Which is terrible against Roaches. I mean, I was hoping he was gonna make 2 Widow Mines, because that would be very useful.
Is he gonna get the repair just in time? Ooh, just in time.
Just start focus firing the repairing units.
And a really good combination with this is just to grab Burrow. We're gonna see Widow Mines now coming out. So
finally, now when he sees that come out, you target fire the Widow Mine, and he didn't do that.
No. But I mean,
now this did the damage it needed to, so really the Zerg should win.
19 workers killed.
But then again, as I've said many times, Terran OP.
Yep.
They don't need workers.
Terran can come back from almost anything. So right now, that Zerg is ahead 30 workers.
Yeah, that would normally in any other match, it would be a done deal.
Yeah, but
that and then look, he's gonna take Widow Mines and he'd take out half the drones.
That's probably what's gonna happen. Or 2 Hellbats.
It happens to me all the time, so I just figure.
He got that early armory, so he's trying to go for Hellbat, but he saw the Roaches and switched to Mines. Hellbats are actually, they're even decent against Roaches. If you have enough of them, they still do quite a bit. Getting out there without losing anything. Pretty good.
I mean, he just evened it up with one Hellbat drop. It's amazing. I mean, he took out 13 drones. He didn't even lose anything.
No. Well, now he lost a little bit because the mutas are out. But you know, with the mules, it's okay to be behind a little bit. But the Zerg player is going to keep making workers as well.
So yeah, like I said, I like mutas, but not when they have widow mines.
Yeah. He really needs to try to get to the worker line, but kind of hard at that point. I don't really gonna see a third base coming out from Osmposm.
This is a long game, so let's speed it up just a little bit. Because all you're going to see is some harass. Because, I mean, basically they're going to go into macro mode with a little bit of harass from the Zerg.
We're going to see the Zerg is switching into more of a Ling style, and he's getting the standard 4 evolution chambers, just in case, because, you know, there's only 3 upgrades you can get at once, but that's okay.
And he's pushing out right now.
Slow down a little bit. But the Zerg player is making about 7 banelings. I don't think that's enough. But his baneling speed is probably going to be finished, hopefully. Just a couple seconds left. Ooh, this could be bad.
Well, I say those did what it needed to.
Yep, because the friendly damage from the Widow Mines helped out quite a bit as well. But he does need to go and clear those Widow Mines off, otherwise he's going to be in a world of hurt here in a second. Ooh, this could be bad. Ooh. Losing a couple Mutalisks and a couple Banelings there.
Again, I'm sorry, but even though it's our own teammate, Terran OP.
I don't know, that was pretty... that was the Zerg's fault. He had that Overseer sitting right there the whole time. Alright, speed it up again.
It's a long way for those drones to travel.
+2/+2 coming in for the Terran player. He does see this base here, so he's going to try to go and deny it. The Zerg player is just kind of an awkward base to defend, because he doesn't have these rocks killed yet, so any reinforcements take quite a while, and if he's not careful, they get picked off by these Widow Mines, so there wasn't a whole lot he could do to save that base.
I don't understand this map why people don't break the rocks so they can get between their third. Same thing with Terran. I mean, if someone attacks that planetary down there.
Yeah.
Well, that was a great one for the Zerg.
Oof. Well, that one was alright, but I don't think it quite did enough friendly damage to be worth going in like that. One smart thing to do is to divide your Zerglings, have like one small group of like 8 to 10 Zerglings, and then the rest of them. And then you just kind of send the first group in, and they'll all die, but they'll do friendly damage, and you won't lose all your lings. It's a lot more cost effective.
This is going to a super macro game.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up again. I see some more Mutalisks coming out from Showtime. And 3/3 upgrades are coming out as well. Alright, and there's a drop coming out. Going back to this 4th base over here.
Yep, before all the spores and everything go down. Well, there's one, but not anything.
Ooh, Widow Mines.
Oh, it killed everything, and he was able to fly off. Just mean.
That was pretty good. Generally want to have this.
Would be pretty good.
You generally want to have that spore collar in your mineral line. It's alright. +1 attack is just coming out now from the Zerg player on his Mutalisks. Looks like I thought he might be doing some Burrow play, but he keeps starting the upgrade and then canceling it for some odd reason. Oof. This is a pretty good choke point for the Zerg player to be in.
I'm not understanding why Zerg hasn't tech switched. All he needs to go is Ultralisk.
Ultralisks, yep. Ultralisks with Infestors or Vipers or something. And he needs more Banelings. He has 5 Banelings. Would add on like maybe 5 or so more.
Now with that choke and with the Terran going through there, what he really should be doing is putting up Baneling landmines. And,
yeah, I know, that's what I was thinking, but...
Because that's a big choke there. If you do 2 or 3, wait for his armies halfway through, you'll kill almost his whole army with 3 or 4 Banelings.
Really forces the Terran to make sure to scan and everything. These Widow Mines just being cost effective. This one Widow Mine has 20 kills. Aw, looks like they're all gonna die.
Or even drops. I mean, there's so many things that the Zerg can do, and he's just, I mean, he's got 112 Zerglings. It's ridiculous. So, you know, but use those Zerglings to attack and counter and keep the Terran on its back.
Yeah.
But just letting Osmposm do whatever he wants is not really a good way to go. Because he's doing exactly what the Zerg should be doing, which is, you know, countering. Now, that's a lot of Banelings.
No, that's too many Banelings.
But I don't know how that's going to really...
Yep, and so we're going to see some kind of smart play by lifting up into the Medivacs. However, there are Mutalisks there who are just going to pick them off.
There we go. Take out that planetary. Does he not know about the other planetary yet?
I guess not. So, still, I don't.
Oh, they're all gonna die.
Not quite.
No,
sure.
that was a bad Baneling right there.
I don't.
Well, one Baneling for one SCV is actually not worth it.
Oh, well, you know.
Finally, he sees
that
this.
Planetary Fortress, I don't think that's quite cost effective. Because he could have just killed that with all his Mutalisks and saved those Banelings, but. So I felt like that was a pretty free win for the Zerg player there, but we'll see. Zerg player might win, but I was just assuming that Osmposm's gonna win. So we haven't had a single person send in a replay where they've lost yet.
I will be the first.
Oh
man.
My goodness.
That's called Marines. Don't mix well with Mutalisks. Don't ever take them head on without Banelings.
They
were all up there too. All he had to do was
secret
wait.
Missiles.
Oh, there's a Baneling landmine. That's what I was talking about. If he waits, don't do it premature. Oh, he got a scan in. Just at the right time.
You know.
Yeah.
If you would have just had like half that amount there and just spread them out a little bit better, still would have been pretty good, but wouldn't have lost as many Banelings. I don't know.
There you go, right there.
Sling run by. I'm not quite sure if it's quite worth it.
I think you should have went for the planetary, but that's just me.
I mean, at this point, 14 swarm hosts, that's a decent idea, I guess. He still doesn't have max upgrades. I don't know. I just feel like the Terran is very defensive with all these planetary fortresses. So you can kind of put some pressure on with those and then use a few Mutalisks to defend against drops. Not quite sure what he's doing with these drones.
Oversaturated over here. A little oversaturated here. And he's sending over a bunch of it.
There's a big drop coming.
No. See, here's the problem. He doesn't have any mobility with those swarm hosts.
No,
he can just pick up.
You have to Yep, you have to have Mutalisks still. Or even Corruptors if you're gonna go Broodlord. But you have to have something that can pick those off. But he doesn't have, well, I think nope, he lost them all from the Seeker missiles back a little while ago. If he kept those Mutalisks alive, he could have won that game pretty easily by picking off those Medivacs.
I'm actually still wondering. The Zerg prematurely quit. The Zerg has more minerals, more gas, higher supply, more bases. I have no clue. He could have starved out the Terran. The Terran had one base. Yeah, one base and partially one. That was pretty. Wow, it's kind of like an Idra thing. Like, okay, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just think that your opponent is way further ahead than they actually are. Because if you just held on to that, like just made a few banelings or just been defensive a little bit better, I think he could have held that and won. Alright, let's see. Our next replay is with Aegon at PVZ. He is playing against a diamond player. This is quite interesting.
All right, spawning on the top right, the guy that sounds like he's much older than he is, Aegon. And in the bottom left is the unknown player who is Eternity SEV from Clan Ozone.
Ozone.
Ozone. He's obviously a hippie. So just so you know that. All right, so I have not previewed this. I have no clue what's going to happen. I'm guessing Aegon's going to win because everyone seems to put the ones where they look good. Even if they win or lose 20 in a row, they find one game where they look good and they're like, here, this will be the one I'll send to the weekly rewind.
This is the game you played against a diamond player? I felt pretty good about it.
I think we should do a when cheese fails for our clan members. Like when I try to cheese and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
You know, piggyback off lag TV.
You know, I have plenty of games where my opponent's done that. I had a game the other day. My opponent tried to proxy 2-gate me, and when I scouted him with my drone, I saw that he had just put down his first pylon in his main base. So, unfortunately for him, I just didn't expand and scouted the 2 gates. I was able to hold it off pretty easily.
No. When cheese fails, when we cheese.
Well, yes. But that's why my opponent did that.
Wow, this diamond player doesn't know how to play. And the reason I say that is these Zerglings could have a great effect in the mineral lines, you know, either from wasted time. Now there's, of course, a sentry out, but they could have easily ran up the ramp beforehand.
I think that the sentry was out for quite a while. I'm not sure, though. But yeah, trying to kill that was not worth it at all. Speed it up a little bit. So now, income-wise, Zerg is 3 workers ahead, which is technically behind.
Oh no, Zerg's way behind. You're on equal bases right now. That's not a good sign, right?
Almost equal workers.
It's almost a 7-minute mark and he hasn't expanded yet. So he's either committed to all in or he's very delayed on his third.
Yep. Stargate coming out from Aegon, along with Lair. He's going to be taking the gases at his natural expansion. But yeah, the Zerg player is very far behind at this point. Aegon's playing pretty safe with 4 sentries out right now, and now he's just getting some Phoenix. Then he's going to tech switch Pride into a Colossus. Because by making these Phoenix, it denies any Mutalisk stuff, and generally a lot of Zergs will transition to Hydralisk afterwards. So the
that's the problem is tech switching late game. That's why it's really hard to play against Zerg because, you know, let's say you go from Stargate for Mutas or Harass, and Zerg gets a lockdown on that, and they tech switch to Hydras right away, right? It's not. I mean, you really have to have all your tech structures done in advance, which is Aegon's doing. Yep. But it also limits what you can produce because you have all these tech structures that you may or may not be actually producing units off of, depending on what the opponent's making. For example, if he went roaches, there isn't really a good thing for Stargate against roaches. You could say avoid ray, but it's not. It doesn't do enough DPS if you have like 12 roaches. So you'd be focusing more on your robo.
Yeah. So now he's going to be getting
now look at that,
out.
A hidden base for the Zerg.
Which is kind of interesting because I feel like, it's pretty typical for a Zerg player to get a third. And so you generally want to have one that you can defend easily because if the Protoss player figures out about this, he can kill that really easily. So I think
it's kind of It's a good risk because what it means is Aegon might look at it and say, okay, it's going to be an all-in.
It's an all-in.
Two bases, right?
Yeah.
So what the Zerg can be doing is building up units, but also getting that economy. And Aegon's not going to have any clue.
Now he's taking his
fourth, C3
bases.
That extra. Yeah, the extra base is really important. Now, one thing I noticed is that it looks like he might be trying to do. I don't know. Is there a baling nest? I don't see one. Interesting. I would have really thought banelings would have been a nice little touch.
Yep, he's just going to keep adding on to that Mutalisk count, which is kind of interesting, and Aegon knows this, so he's not going to be creating any more stuff from his robotic space. He's going to keep making Phoenix, or robotics facility, excuse me.
And that's where range comes in really important. If they're going to commit to airplay, then getting that Phoenix range is really important.
Yes. And the Zerg player needs to add on a few corruptors or something. Otherwise, the Phoenix can just destroy all the Mutalisks without you just have a little bit of micro.
I think Phoenix should have Seeker missiles.
Oh boy.
That wouldn't be OP at all.
It would be pretty balanced, right? The Zerg player is trying to deny the third from Aegon, but no, he doesn't really have that big of a force. It's just Mutalisks. It's a lot of Mutalisks.
Well, and also see the DT Shrine coming up.
DT Shrine Blink coming up. Like Aegon has really good response to this Mutalisk play.
There's good map control going on here. The only issue I see is the Zerg doesn't have. Like, he's just saving up. His mutas are very weak against strong airplay. That's a lot of Phoenixes.
Yeah, and if you look at the units lost tab, it's pretty one-sided at this point. So there's just not a whole lot that the Zerg player can do, because he can try to attack, but the Phoenix will just move back. So he's going to lose pretty much all of his Mutalisks here. Only
he should really tech switch, right? He's making more. See, this is sorry, but it's retarded. Like, he's making 11 more muta.
Yeah.
Because it didn't work. It really worked well the first time when he lost all of his forces to almost none of his air. But he's got tons of production. He could easily be working towards
like Ultralisk or something like that.
Yeah, Ultralisk would be Ultralisk. He would work great.
Yeah, the Protoss player is committed to a lot of Phoenix, and Phoenix can't do anything versus Ultralisk, so. Looks like we're having a little bit of lag here.
Interesting. He's a Fester Pit, which, could be, I'm sorry, what is that called? Fester's Pit. It's,
The what?
Where?
Infestation Pit?
It's the Infestor Pit. You can, since the game's paused.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of internet problems right now, so give that a second.